Slam on that recording button, say hey, hi, hello, good morn. By morn, I mean early afternoon. It is 2:31 p.m. January 7th, 2021. Man, it hasn't even been a week since New Year. That's fucking crazy. That is absolutely insane. It feels like I haven't streamed in like a month. It's been 2 days. It's been 2 fucking days. Um, Man, there's so much I want to talk about. All right, let's start with the big elephant in the room. The um, fascist demonstration in the Capitol, wherein 4 people died, 1 as a result of a police bullet, and 3 as a result of other injuries, self-inflicted or otherwise. I'm not up to date on that, so that was best knowledge as of when I went to bed at like 2 in the morning last night. Um, First time the Capitol building of the United States has been breached since the War of 1812. Though breached is a generous word for it, given the police kind of just gave up and let the fascist demonstrators in. I mean, yeah, there was some scuffling, and then the cops just kind of gave back, pulled back, and let it happen, which is just fucking incredible. Um, Before I get too deep into it, I just want to say this. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. I fucking told you so. All right, see, we got it through. It's over with. But I told you so. I and many other people. I'm not like an oracle in this regard. Have been saying for damn near a year, like, hey man, we're in the cool zone of history books, right? The part of history books and reading in high school, like, oh man, this shit's cool. I wish I were alive then, or like, wow, what crazy shit. People have been saying since early 2020 that we are in the cool zone, encouraging one another's to organize, to arm themselves, to come up with emergency plans, try to communicate. What's the word here? Organize. Community aid, community security and support. I mean, leftists have been fighting fascists in the streets of the United States, in the capitals of almost every state in the Union, off and on since June of 2020. We done warned you. We done warned you time and time again. Now, God, there's some interesting conversations between, like, was this a demonstration? Was this an insurrection? Was it an attempted coup? I think, that really depends on the lens that you're using. And I don't care to delve into specificities because they're fascist. And I don't give a fuck what they want. They're fascist. What they need to be is removed from any position of power, political sway, or authority. That authoritarianism and fascism have no role and no place in a humane society. I don't care what it was. They were willfully and intentionally interfering with the free elections of a country, in that it was an attempt at a coup, specifically to stop an incumbent president from being confirmed and setting the final, let's hope, stone in removing the sitting president. In effect, it was an attempted coup using that lens and that language. The Capitol Police were complicit not incompetent. They have over 2,000 officers. They have an incredible, incredible budget, militarized police force. And given the rapidity and eagerness with which the National Guard was deployed time and time again against Black Lives Matter protesters in the Capitol, the refusal to deploy the National Guard by the Pentagon early on in the day, and by the president immediately, by other authorities throughout the day until they were finally reluctantly deployed. I mean, come on, man. It's just blatant favoritism, blatant racism, blatant complacency and complicity. Complicity? Bleh. I'm still waking up. I'm very tired. I did not sleep well. They're two sides of the same fucking coin. I mean, you can look at today and the hot takes coming out from police cooperatives, particularly Police Union of Chicago, their head, and I don't know his name, I don't care to, coming out in support of the fascist would-be coups yesterday in the Capitol, saying that their feelings were understandable and that no one got hurt and there were no fires and no property destruction, which is just insane because there were all of those things to various extents. What the fuck are you talking about? It's active rejection of reality. I mean, it's quite telling that upon the failure to gain popular support that these fucking QAnon-rattled, bootlicking sycophants expected, the online discourse, half of these alt-right fascist idiots started claiming, and even a sitting congressperson started claiming that it was an Antifa smear operation to make it look like these fascists were bad. You can't make this shit up. You can't. You don't even have the solidarity to stand by their actions, which is just hilarious. I mean, this is kind of like a beer hall push. A little bit. I don't know. It's dangerous making direct one-to-one comparisons between events in, up-and-coming fascist nations in the early and mid-20th century and today. The material landscape has changed. Means of production have changed. Means of consumption have changed. The way that we Americans interact with our government and participate in our political system are different, wildly different from those of a nascent, Italian republic, constitutional republic when Mussolini was made prime minister. He technically served at the pleasure of a king, Emmanuel II, I think. And a Prussian republic under the Weimar Republic, very different from our own, with Hindenburg swearing Hitler into power. Me just saying Mussolini, Hitler, any of these words is making YouTube's algorithm after the fact just go brr, brr, brr. But there are direct and important comparisons to make. I mean, the growth, and I very politely have tried to engage, let's say, with folks on Facebook, primarily yesterday, libs on Facebook. People I care about and respect, but are, still holding to some fanciful idea of how things are done and what America is about and all that jazz. Oh, man. And, I don't believe that fascism can be dealt with through electoralism. Fascism can't be dealt with through politicking. Fascism can't be dealt with through diplomacy. And Neville Chamberlain, Chancellor Bismarck, King Emmanuel II found that out. These are not people you compromise with. These are not people you meet in the middle, because you meet in the middle and they take everything. You make any sort of compromise and you can't come back from it. Reactionaries, particularly violent, nationalist, authoritarian reactionaries, you do not compromise with, you do not talk with, you do not bargain with. They fester, and they grow, and they devour. And, to be fair, this rhetoric is sounding, wow, Alex, well, they could say the same thing about communists. Yeah, good, fuck them. Like, I am on the like opposing end of the political structure from fascism. Yeah, our ideologies loathe one another. In the early days, the last days of the Weimar Republic, who was fighting the fascist militia in the streets? Socialists. Who were the ones actually putting up militant political organization, the ones taking meaningful action to counter and curb authoritarian efforts at the time? Socialists. Who are the first fucking people that they came for? Socialists. And why? Because we is a generous term, they at the time, because I'm not German, I'm not a member of that specific socialist denomination or practice, so we is, stolen power, as certain folks like to say or describe. They were the only real and present danger to their authority structure. So, too, is the case today. Because the moderates bend over. The liberals bend over. The SOCDEMs, they say that they don't like it. But it's the socialists and the anarchists and the communists that actually put up a fucking fight. Someone had the gall to make the argument, you can't play their game. It's not their game. They didn't create direct action. They didn't create violence. They didn't create warfare. That's not their game. Oh, they're better at it, and that's what they want to do, more so than you, who pride yourselves in being centrists and moderates and liberals and cowards. You pride yourself on cowardice. Not pacifism, no. Because if you were a pacifist, you wouldn't participate in the imperial hegemony and economic exploitation of peoples so willfully as you do. Or contentedly as you do. Even by proxy. No, you're cowards. You're comfortable cowards. Many of which know that you'd be comfortable still, even were fascists to take power. How were fascists taken out of Italy? Out of Germany? By force. By force, by external force, primarily through a leftist force. I'm no tanky. Soviet Union did a lot of beautiful, amazing, inspiring things. Also did some horrible things, like any centralized authoritarian power does. Like the United States. Like, unfortunately, the People's Republic of China. Like the Empire of Great Britain. Like the Empire of Germany, France, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium. They're not innocent, but they're not alone in their guilt. I don't think a perfect country can exist. I don't think a perfect ideology can exist. I think in striving for that constant revolution, in embracing the idea of the dialectic, of thesis, antithesis, final synthesis becoming your new thesis, and repeating the process over and over and over and over and over, I think we can strive towards better things. More perfect unions, as was enshrined in the United States founding documents. And that idea of trying new things, iterating, improving. And dialectic is integral to the foundation of American philosophy, political philosophy, and social philosophy. And the idea that socialism is in any way incompatible with the finer and more beautiful spirits of the American dream or American vision or American hope is wrong. It's just patently wrong. Socialism highlights the most beautiful parts and aspirations of America. It makes them not words, but material, real. Anyway, the only good fascist is a dead fascist. I can't believe I was having to deal with whataboutisms and both sides bullshit from people yesterday. I mean, one wants to be a cop, and it's just, he's a fucking lost cause. The other is a family member who, I can't be too specific as to their position, but it's a public position at a conservative teaching institution. So I think for a lot of reasons, there's some politeness, politics going on there. You can't out-polite these people. You can't take the moral high ground and think that'll make the Nazis go away. Because it fucking won't. It absolutely won't, Mr. Chamberlain. What it'll do is it might keep you safe for a little while. But then they're just gonna prey on more vulnerable people. They're just going to continue to sink in roots, to fester and grow their power structure, to organize and grow and consolidate what gains they've already made. They don't fade away. They have to be ripped out root and stem. I mean, fascism in the United States was never ripped out root and stem. Fascism and capitalism go hand in hand when allowed to be taken to an extreme, when allowed to operate without restriction, when allowed to be taken to its philosophical end. And we've seen that in the United States. I mean, literally with the membership of the Silver Shirts of America, the pro-business coup that Smedley Butler warned about. Even the President Kennedy's father being a fascist. And that was not an unpopular notion at the time. United Kingdom, you have your own rich history of fascists. But the United Kingdom, to their credit, in the latter part of the 20th century, fought fascists in the streets. Yeah, they fought them in the Second World War, and the Americans, we eventually got involved, but specifically, I mean the punks of the UK actually, fought fascists in the street. In the United States, a little. But old school punk in the United States, in my mind, was largely performative capitalist bullshit, without any real sense or connection to political or social ideology. I don't know, I'd love for some old school punks to come along and prove me wrong, but the old school punks that are still around are millionaires. So, yeah. Yeah, the amount of people that were saying, "Oh, I can't believe what's going on yesterday. Wow, this is shocking." I woke up, got a text from a friend saying, "Are you watching what's happening in the Capitol right now?" I'm like, "No, I'm asleep." I open up Twitter to see what the fuck they're talking about. I'm like, "Oh, storm the Capitol building." I'm like, "Damn, all right, wow." Didn't think they had it in them. I didn't think the fascists had it in them, because in prior months, anti-fascist and fascist groups, let's say malicious is probably a more appropriate word, counter protesters, you know, whatever you want to use, have been fighting each other in the streets of DC over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and almost inadvertently the anti-fascists win. However, there was no counter protest yesterday because, as always, fucking libs, liberals, tolerance politicking, moral high ground having sons of bitches were like, oh, we can't go out. They're looking for a fight, and if we give them a fight, we're just giving them what they want. So instead, we just stand by and watch the Capitol Police let them into the highest office in the country. Let them violate the very images of democracy, representational politics in the United States. Don't even lift a fucking finger. That's your take, huh? That's your take? And then those same fucking liberals the next day, when it happened, lost their absolute shit. And the news was and is flailing around trying to figure out how to skew it to blame the left. describing these fascists as anarchists. No, dude. No, if it were anarchists, and I've seen this joked about on leftist circles, you'd see first aid tents, mutual aid handouts pop up immediately. What did we see at the fascist coup? The only pop-up there were no first aid tents. There was someone selling food. Not giving food away, selling food, I think was the only pop-up tent there. Like, for fuck's sake. Like, you can't look at... I mean, Carmen Best has been on MSNBC. I think Carmen Best, former head of the Seattle Police Department, has been talking about how you handle those protesters and how she did such a good job. No, you didn't, Carmen. No, you didn't. Fuck you. You turned our city into a goddamn war zone. And I hope you rot in hell for it. I do. There was never any reason. I got tear gas walking down the street. Repeatedly. I was flashbanged and shot at with rubber bullets. The whole fucking 9 yards. Time and time again. Day after day after day. For weeks. For wanting to walk down a public street and demonstrate outside of a publicly owned building. And eventually they occupied a park for reasons I'm unclear on. Cal Anderson has never really meant anything to me, so that whole chapter was kind of my, okay, I'm stepping away, because, like, I don't give a fuck about Cal Anderson. Like, we should have just occupied the fucking police station, because that's a much better bargaining tool than a public park. And there was a lot of interfighting going on at the time between a couple of actors that were there for self-promotion, a couple of actors that were there in order to cause tension within the movement. It was very obvious at the time if you looked at it, but a lot of people don't have any training or learning in the history of political movements in the United States, don't know what to look out for, don't know what kind of questions to ask. They want to follow. They want to have leaders that they can trust. And so somebody with a megaphone tells you to do something, so many people just fucking do it. Because they're conditioned to. And that's a conditioning you have to do away with. All the same. You know, the juxtaposition is hilarious. You see a Black Lives Matter protest try to storm a Capitol building, they would have used live ammunition. Absolutely would have. And they fucking gave up and let them in yesterday. They're hand in hand. It's the same hand. One's in a glove, one's in a fist, right? Like, I can't imagine people not seeing that. to be fair, yesterday did seemingly push some quiet people to be more loud. It pushed some libs to be slightly radicalized more. But listen, this is the first time the Capitol building, like I said, has been breached since 1812. That's a big deal. This is a rallying call for fascists in the United States and overseas, showing what's possible. This might embolden them and encourage them to take further, more violent action. Because it wasn't checked. It wasn't checked by local leftist organizations who thought it would just be another vote bad demonstration and were dissuaded from doing so by more liberal voices in their choir. And I mean, obviously every other centrist, moderate, etc., position. But, you know, now it's been made very clear that's on the table. And if it happened once, it could probably happen again. I mean, God, the InfoSec yesterday. The personal computers in offices of senators and congresspeople were left unlocked. I mean, bad enough that, like, the physical hardware could be accessed. Like, oh, I don't know, hard drives, records, confidential documents. Just the whole fucking 9 yards. But you didn't even lock your computers? What the fuck? What the absolute fuck are you? Wow. So, I mean, from an InfoSec position, all the computers in the fucking building need to be completely hard-wiped? I mean, it takes, like, one person with the intention to use that as camouflage to set up bugs. God, if no foreign agency infiltrated the Capitol building in order to bug offices yesterday, you missed a golden opportunity. And if no fascist did it, again, missed an obvious opportunity. If there were any anti-fascist LARPing as fascists yesterday, they too would have missed that opportunity. Anti-fascists don't march with fascists. We don't pretend to be the thing we hate most in the world. No. It's not how we operate. Leftism, socialism, communism, anarchism are predominantly, most succinctly, ideologies of compassion, of empathy, at their core. Fascism is one of pride and hatred at its core. It is wildly incompatible. But yeah, no, this year's gonna get worse. It is. It's going to get worse. I don't know how, specifically, but it is. You look at our COVID rollout, I know I talked about this not too long ago, it's been abysmal. We are hitting like a 15th of our quotas. Projections at the end of December suggest it would take upwards of 10 years to vaccinate the entire population, which is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. So COVID's not going away. This political, social unrest is only growing. I mean, this is a broad demonstration of what's possible, especially when the police stand aside and are complicit. I mean, that's the real danger, right? And that's a key talking point that leftists have been hitting on time and time again over the summer. Nah, fuck it, leave it there. They're on the same team. if there's an attempted fascist coup, like there was yesterday, the police will either stand by or help. Because they have the same interests. Because they both want to protect moneyed interests, protect established entrenched power, and become that established entrenched power through a parasitic relationship. They are not interested in uprooting or disrupting structures of power, structures of organization, or meaningfully changing them. Not in a way that would materially impact their employers and funders, yeah. So yeah, that's why this is such an important thing to point to, especially because there's footage of the police just like backing off and letting them in, or literally opening gates for them yesterday, being like, look, they're on the same fucking team. And if you look at the reluctancy with which the National Guard was deployed, man, people wanted this to happen. People in power wanted this to succeed. Yep. Things are not going to get better under Biden. Fuck no. Under Biden, they just have someone to be mad at. Someone new to rally over, get pissed off about, and lash out at. I mean, there were pipe bombs, IEDs, Molotov cocktails yesterday in the Capitol building. The IEDs obviously were cleared up, as were the pipe bombs. Nobody was harmed by them, but there was intent to do real mortal harm. I mean, not in self-defense, not even a little bit. Multiple people had zip ties with them with the intention of arresting people and then sorting them out later. Sorting them out later in Parler and QAnon circles tends to just mean firing squad. Literally, that's the word they use, firing squad, to describe what they're going to do with these people that they perceive as traitors to their fascist ideology and their cult of personality head figure. But, you know, of course, corporate news is reporting on this slantedly, trying to make it look like outliers, trying to make it look like it's an exception to the rule. I mean, for fuck's sake, on Christmas Day, we had a white suicide bomber in the United States who was a far-right ideologue. 2 weeks later, the United States Capitol was swarmed and occupied by a fascist mob with the complicit aid of the police. This is not going away. This is not getting better. This is getting worse. And that's not what you're going to be told. You're not going to be told on the news that this is getting worse. You're going to be told, oh, well, we counted the votes and Joe Biden has passed the last hurdle, so he's going to take over and we're going back to normal. We're going to... Just blue MAGA. Blue Make America Great Again. And they think somehow that's going to work. It's astonishing. It's truly astonishing. The stubborn nature of power in the United States. Because it's either willfully ignorant or intentionally misleading at this point. I don't believe you can be ignorant accidentally anymore. It's just damning what's been happening. And it's been 35 minutes. How am I doing? Fucking tired. This has been a hell of a week. I I had an interview yesterday, which is hilarious, for an escape room company game master position. Honestly, I don't think it pays enough or has enough hours to keep me afloat. But it's virtual commute, and it's something I'd actually enjoy, so took a shot. I'm still applying for other jobs naturally. So that was fun to get in the headspace for. I gotta tell you, that was the most informal job interview I've ever had. Because, like, I could not put on the airs of professionalism. There's an attempted coup going on, dog. Like, come on. Like, we really just gonna act like the world's not falling apart? No. Ran our Blades Without Number. Blades Without Number. No, Stars Without Number. Blades in the Dark. Blades in the Dark campaign episode 1 yesterday. Went better than I expected. In some regards, you know, took a while to kind of shake off the rust and get the wheels turning, which had me really nervous, but eventually it seemed like we were finding our pace, hitting the ground, and I'm optimistic looking for it. I really am. I have too many fucking players, though. I have too many fucking players. I have, what, 5 right now? 5 or 6 right now, and a 7th? Or an additional one joining. This game was designed for 4 to 5. I got too many. 4 to 5 total, including me. But that's okay, you know. Work with it. I gotta read some threads and suggestions on how you can hack things to better deal with the larger group of people, slow down certain progression, increase or really decrease their resistance or the amount of stress that they have, make individually them weaker because as a whole they have access to more resources than they would otherwise, and there's some interesting arguments I need to suss out there. I should really do a summary for what happened yesterday because I didn't record it because I didn't even think to bring up that in discussion with everything that was going on. Today I had my hearing for unemployment benefits, my appeal for it being rejected after 3 months. I didn't get into this at the hearing, but I wanted to be like, hey, so it's completely unfair that I applied in late March for benefits, received immediately, and then it wasn't until August that it was retroactively declined. So I was just operating in good faith as if it had been accepted until August. And then I immediately applied in August for an appeal, and it took you 130 days to get back to me. I didn't bring it up, but I'm so frustrated and angry with the legal system bureaucracy in Washington and in the United States as a whole. The police are overfunded. The legal system is underfunded. Well, really, social workers, social structure in the United States is underfunded. Legal department, you know, I'm not qualified to say. I think probably needs pretty serious restructuring itself, but yeah, I have no idea how that went. My employer were not in the call, which is interesting because less than 24 hours before the call, they submitted additional evidence for consideration, which is weird. I thought they were doing it as we're gonna bring this up, which is weird because it was just somebody emailing the then manager at the time being like, hey, fuck you, this is why everyone is leaving, and it's an email I sent only to the staff from my personal email saying, hey y'all, I'm leaving because I don't feel that we should be working, that our positions are essential. This is why I have this interpretation. Our employer has a different interpretation. I just wanted to reach out and apologize to you because you're impacted by this decision, and you are who I care about most in this company. Not my job, not anything else, just the way it will personally impact you. It was just me being like, I'm sorry for how this is going to affect you. So it was kind of weird that they wanted to include it, but whatever. They also submitted that They sent me a letter saying that they had tried to contact me that I never got and I never read. So like, okay, great. I don't really see what they were getting at by that. I don't really care either. My assumption going in was that they wouldn't find in my favor because I've just given up hope on anything good happening to me. I mean, I know that's a very sad thing to say, but like, I'm kind of there. I'm very, very pessimistic right now, obviously. I'll probably get a response to that next 48 hours. And then if they don't find in my favor, I can file an additional appeal so long as I file it within 30 days. I guess if they don't, I'll go ahead and do that, and it's the last possible appeal I can do. But if a judge doesn't find in my favor, and I present no new arguments, I don't think another judge is likely to find in my favor. I'm going to kick the can as long as I can and see how far I can take it, because obviously I feel like I didn't willfully do anything wrong. I feel like I was engaging the system in good faith. In my mind, I do qualify, and their interpretation was wrong. But that doesn't mean they have to change their mind and change their interpretation. Just because we have a different interpretation, different opinion on something, does not mean that they are inclined or obligated to share or in any way modify what they're doing based upon my views. Because that's not how standardized practice works. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm, yep, pretty pessimistic. Job interview, who knows? I think I got an email from them today I haven't responded to, or read, even. Yeah, maybe it went well, maybe it doesn't. Even if I get an offer for a further interview or going further along in the process, I need some sort of guarantee that I'll minimally make $1,600 a month, because it's a part-time position. I need to know what they mean by part-time. Is part-time 20 hours? Is it 30? Is it just 39 and not quite 40, so you can't call it full-time? What exactly is this? Right, and I know the business structure. We don't know. It's less than 40, so we don't have to give you benefits. It's contingent on how many games are booked, so it's seasonally your hours will change. And also contingent on if they're more senior staff and what their hour requirements or desires are. And making sure all the employees get a baseline, probably, of a certain number of hours. So I don't know those 4 factors. So I can't really make an estimate or determination in how the conversation will go, but you know, I'm not wildly optimistic about it. I think my chances of hearing back are fairly good. It sounded like there was a big interview pool. So we'll see. You know, again, I'm incapable of hope. I don't know what I'm doing today. I need to cook, but like I'm really not in the mood. I feel like I'm really not in the fucking mood. Oh hey, well hey there. Long time no see. I'm glad you're alive. It's good to see you. I don't know what I'm doing today. I'm coming down from an anxiety high for a lot of reasons. The job interview, the unemployment hearing, the attempted coup, life. Yeah. Yeah. Congrats on the 150. Oh, we've hit 150. It's ducked down. It's gone up. It's ducked down. It's gone up. My early days, Alex was so concerned about growing this channel in, you know, actually playing games and doing like achievement runs and stuff like that. It would have killed early streamer Alex to know that I only have like 150 right now. But I don't put any self-worth in that. anymore. I I'm humbled that anyone wants to listen to me talk and keep me company, and I value all of you weirdos out there. I do. I do. And I'm really glad I'm not on that this is a Lo-Fi Islanders channel now. You're not wrong. You're really not far off. I mean, my YouTube channel has turned into this Let's Talk stuff, poetry, which I'm sure the EU4 nerds fucking love. And I have been losing some subscribers but gaining new ones, so I'm really stable there. It's not growing, it's not declining, which is amazing because the content I've been putting out is it's such a far cry from what I've been doing. It's like me giving myself therapy. Me doing poetry readings, planning for tabletop role-playing games, and like maybe like once or twice a month actually playing video games. Right now, Dishonored is the series. Islanders is very chill. I can highly recommend that game. I mean, I think you can try hard it, right? You can min-max it and really take it seriously trying to get the high score. And I think a younger me would have done that. But just as a chill, like, haha, click, whoop, it's weird. It's a game that operates with mechanics that take up enough of my bandwidth, if you will, that it keeps me from overthinking shit, and I can just kind of get in a fugue flow state where I can just go. But if I try to think any harder about it, I just stop caring and don't want to play anymore. It's a good game. It's very pretty. Did that come out in 2020? No, Islanders is a 2019 title, right? Ah, yes, the New York Islanders. No, that's not why I want Google. It's not why I want it all. Yeah, April 4th, 2019. So it's almost 3 years old. 2019, 2020, 2020. Almost 2 years old. I can do math. I'm so burnt out. I haven't touched on this. The most hilarious fucking thing about the coup attempt yesterday in the United States. Or the fucking messages sent by, like, Venezuela. Just like, oh man, it sucks, huh? Must really suck when you've done it to every other fucking country on the continent, huh? It's the best. The best official message was just like, well, talk shit, get shit, huh? It's very memeable. Oh, God save you for trying to organize your Steam library. Mine is never being organized. And we're procrastinating on video games, which you used to procrastinate on your job. Yeah, I mean, I do that too. I mean, not that I have a job. Lord, if only. Honestly, right now, I'm not playing anything very actively. Like, I'm not streaming because, or I'm not streaming because I'm bored of it, or, like, I don't want to play stuff socially. I'm just not playing anything. I'm, like, doom scrolling, watching shit on Netflix and YouTube, preparing for tabletop role-playing games, being like, man, I'd really love to be having fun with something. Not having fun with anything, and just, like, yeah. The part that annoys you about the coup is that the Green Line didn't go down. Any other country in an armed civilian coup attempt would kill the stock market. Yeah, it actually made the stock market go up. In the United States. Wall Street loved it. Wall Street loved it. Which again, points to the interconnectedness and just hand-in-hand nature of capitalism and fascism. They are the same beast. What benefits one benefits the other. And yeah. The The stock market in the United States has nothing to do with any material reality anymore. It's just how old, racist, white, rich people feel about the world. It is incredible. I'm really surprised I haven't, like, wanted to talk about what's going on sooner. Like, that I've held my tongue until, like, what, 2, 3 in the afternoon of the next day? But, like, seriously, my take was, like, I opened this video, fucking told you. I fucking told you. I've been warning people over and over and over for like, almost a year, and I'm not alone in this. Again, that, like, take this shit seriously, it's gonna get worse. This is gonna get worse. This is gonna get worse. This is gonna get worse. And, oh Lord, it got worse. I mean, God. If the Capitol Police were so quick and eager to just hand over the Capitol building to a fascist mob, man, the inauguration, that's gonna be fun, isn't it? That's gonna be real fun. Only got about 2 more weeks until that happens. Oh. Yeah, to all the fucking people who were talking about, well, 2020 is finally over. Fuck that year. Yeah, 2020 was so bad. 2021, I'm ready for you. Were you? Were you ready for 2021? Were you ready for an attempted coup before the first week was over? Were you really? No. Yeah, they're big babies. They're fucking cowards. The alt-right soy boys, as you describe them. Personally, I like soy boy. I've been called soy boy many a time, and I eat plenty of soy products. They're great for the environment. They're great for you. The derogatory soy boy is supposedly because soybeans are a very good source of phytoestrogen. Estrogen, my God, I can't pronounce it. Phytoestrogen is an estrogen-like hormonal structure found in some plants that is very similar to estrogen. However, it does not, you can't consume it in the quantities necessary to result in physiological change. If you could, trans people would be eating so much soy. I mean, some of them do. Soy is great for the environment. Okay, it's better than corn. It's better than corn. Coming from the Midwest of the United States, we grew corn and we grew soybeans. Corn, you can get a lot more stuff per square unit of land per, we call it acreage here in the United States. I don't know what you would call it, kilometerage. Elsewhere, it's probably still acreage. Corn gets a lot more mass, but in terms of nutrients, usable human nutrients, soy is way better. Way better to farm. But in the United States, we like meat, we like having cattle, we like feeding that cattle, so what we do is we use corn as feed for the most part for our meat industry, and we also use stuff like high fructose corn syrup to make everything tasty. So it's not actually nutritional product, it's kind of a luxury food product, honestly. Corn and maize have a long history of being staple foods, but nutritionally, their profile can be better performed by rice and soybeans. And I appreciate certain ecological regions aren't inclined for those, but we grow crops literally in deserts in the United States. We just irrigate whatever the fuck we want, so fuck it, right? But point being, yes, fascist break and run. Like, oh my god, the fucking video of a fascist lady just fucking crying because she got pepper sprayed. She wasn't even tear gas. Pepper sprayed for trying to go inside the Capitol building. She's just bawling We're trying to have a revolution. Yeah? Yeah, you're trying to have... Widow baby try to have a revolution? Widow baby get slightly inconvenienced by widow pepper spray? Oh no, why won't they just let me have my revolution? It's hilarious. It is thoroughly enjoyable, the amount of alt-right, fascist coping that went on yesterday. Yeah, you're right. We sell a lot of soy to China too for cattle feed. Yeah. the MAGA martyr, dude. Yeah. She was former military, former cop from one of the whitest cities and most centrist cities in California. Flew across the fucking country to participate in a coup. Got shot in the head by a cop. Wow. Wow. I'm glad she's dead. I'll say it. Remove me off of the platform. Only good fascist is a dead fascist. And I stand on that ground. And if cops are killing each other, I take no issue. Snake is consuming itself. It's an Ouroboros. It's if they're not shooting my people, if they're not shooting innocent people, if they're just shooting each other, great. Which, is not a compassionate position for me to have, but I have no compassion for fascists. Nor should I. Nor do I feel inclined to. Nor can you guilt me or pretend like there's any moral high ground here, because there isn't. Fascism is the lowest moral ground. Who'd have thunk jumping over the very last barricade separating an armed group of Congress people would get you yoinked from this plane of existence? I'm amazed. Okay, not amazed. I'm incredulous that they only use live ammunition on one person. I'm incredulous at that. I talked ad nauseum in the first 20-30 minutes about this, but if it were any other group of protesters, they would not have made it inside the building. They would have been shot and beaten and murdered en masse rather than being allowed in the building. Now, I can understand the security, the Pentagon. The Pentagon was wavering on sending in the National Guard. And I totally understand why. You want to look at the Russian Revolution. What helped spark that off? People in the military joining with the protesters. It's totally rational to go like, wait a minute. If we add in more cops, more troops, there's a fair chance some of them might not follow orders. If we make martyrs of these people, there's a fair chance it could give momentum to their movement. I totally understand that position. My attitude towards it is, fuck it. Fuck them. The die has been cast. The Rubicon has been crossed already. The government of the United States is just in deep denial about the Rubicon already being crossed and is just trying to put off the inevitable violent confrontation as long as possible. They just don't want to deal with it. They just don't want it to be real, so they're in an active state of denial about how bad the United States is. Yeah, it's hilarious that the 3 of the 4 who died were self-inflicted. They were from health reasons. I don't think a man tasering himself in the balls while trying to steal a painting and in effect giving himself a heart attack is a health reason. I think it's fucking hilarious and just Darwinism. You can't pretend that's not funny, right? It was a human being, yes, and human life has value. I don't want these people to die. No, I want these people to be re-educated, to be given the help that they so obviously need, and be reformed. That's what I want. But that is not something that's reasonably going to happen, so if they're killing each other and killing themselves, that's, not going to complain. Yeah, when the second most important building on a federal level is being sieged from the inside, the Rubicon has been crossed ages ago. Yeah. Yeah, seriously. There are articles of impeachment out right now. We'll see if it goes anywhere. The House, the Congress, Republican Congress people are stubbornly dug in because these are their supporters. Last night, in the confirming the votes for various states, most Republican senators withdrew their support for trying to slow that down. Not all of them, though. But the House still seems like it has. Oh, God. What was the final vote on Pennsylvania? 137 House Republicans opposed confirming the validity of the Pennsylvania vote. And my numbers might be off. I think it was 122 for Arizona, 137 for Pennsylvania. Listen. There's no such thing as a good political purge. But I think that Congress and the Senate both need to have certain representatives who aided and abetted what happened yesterday removed. They're insurrectionists. And they need to be gone. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Do I want it to happen? Yes. It's not going to happen, though. I'm praying for Trump Party 2022. It's just going to be Tea Party Mark II, right? And they're just going to drag the Republican Party further right because the Republicans, the senators, the many Republican senators, senior senators, reacted in a, oh shit, this might hurt my reelection. So I'm going to withdraw. This is a bad look. But those who have ridden this wave, less senior members of the Republican Party in Congress, who've ridden this wave of increasing nationalism, authoritarianism, fascism, racism as policy under Trump, they've already twisted that party to the point there's no coming back. There's absolutely no coming back. So it's gonna be a hell of a month. Okay, honestly, what I expect, I don't think Trump is going to get impeached. I don't think anyone's going to be removed from office or held accountable. There were only 13, 14 arrests yesterday. I don't expect that number to go up very much. I expect this whole thing to get wrapped up in committees and hearings and advisory councils for years. I really don't think anything meaningful is going to come from this as a response. No meaningful response, because again, the United States government doesn't want to admit that this is a problem, and the longer that they put off admitting it's a problem, the longer they can just keep on trying to live in bliss. They live in isolation, and they value that shelter. Oh my God, rich people in this country, it's the thing they value most, is their ability to remove themselves from reality. They value that more than anything else, is their isolation, their insulation, their ability to execute that privilege and live in a different existence. That is what they want more than anything else, and I think that's what they're going to go for. I'd love to believe that all of these calls for impeachment and holding various representatives accountable will go somewhere. I'd love it, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think there's enough centrist Democrats who are afraid of setting the precedent of actually holding people accountable, because their number might come up, that they'll be cowards and back out of any kind of popular support for it. I think there's enough Republicans who would feel the same way, that they won't sign on for it. MAGA Viking might get arrested for optics. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, the current administration, Trump said, "I love you," or "we love you," to these would-be coolers yesterday. The current administration, if Mike Pence wants to save his political career, he needs to remove Trump from office. If he ever wants to be reelected, that's what he has to do. Short of that, I don't know, I'm pessimistic. Yeah, Pelosi is called for the 25th Amendment. Who gives a fuck? Oh, we'll see what happens. There are 6 senators, now there's a list of them somewhere, who voted in favor of rejecting states like Arizona and Pennsylvania. I'd sure love to see them taken out back and sent to a farm upstate where they can run and play with all the other bigots. Yeah, no president will ever be held accountable on a federal level. I think that's an unwritten rule, basically, at this point, that they're so afraid of setting the precedent that politicians or even presidents can actually be held accountable for their actions that they won't do it. Even though Trump is a litany of reasons to hold him to account. I just don't think they want to weaken the office of the president in that regard. They don't want to introduce accountability, which is fucking ridiculous, but makes sense for a bunch of power-hungry oligarchs. Yeah, if New York presses charges, we'll see. Like honestly, we'll see. I'm so... I said it time and time again today. I'm so pessimistic that anything good will happen. I really expect the continuation of the collapse of the American empire, the American political system, social system, economic system. I expect things to continue to get worse. But, you know, I'm just a golden ball of optimism. And I'd love to be wrong. I would absolutely love to be wrong. Oh, God, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I didn't sleep well last night because I was worried about this fucking hearing today, which I almost slept through because I got the time wrong. I thought it was 1:40. It was 1:30. My interview yesterday was 1:45, which is why I got the time fucked up. And I didn't sleep well night before last because I was worried about the interview and our Blades in the Dark campaign. It's just crazy. I'm not saying we should all learn Cantonese and practice sucking dick, but listen, I was on that boat, not the DS boat. I wanted to learn Mandarin in high school because in high school it was obvious that the United States would in my lifetime be overtaken almost in every capacity by China. And it's ludicrous that so many of the United States are trying to fight that. Dude, it's just gonna happen. It's just macroeconomics. Like, there's no way to stop this unless you just commit unspeakable acts of violence, genocide, and mass destruction is the only way to stop China's ascent. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't. You absolutely shouldn't. There are billions of people there with incredible productive capacity and incredible infrastructure. There's a lot of problems with the Chinese government and Chinese national system, okay? I don't really like Dangism. I don't really like the synthesis of socialism and capitalism that they're trying to walk that line. I think any system that can allow billionaires to exist within it, it's very problematic. That aside, it's a sure thing, right? China is going to be the global power of the latter half of the century, or the majority of the century. Maybe India might get up there, Indonesia might get up there, but I mean the only way the United States could hold a candle to it is if we formed a union with the entirety of North America. Then, you know, our industrial capacity could keep up, but our population certainly won't. And with increasing technological development and industrial development of the rest of the world, our technological advantages and privileges and our spoils of imperialism won't be enough to keep us in this artificially inflated position. Yeah. So, I don't know, yeah. I think Mandarin's actually a beautiful language. Chinese is incredible. It's logical, it's nice to look at. Like, the structure of the language makes sense. It's so much easier to learn than English. You know, I have the vocabulary of like a 3-year-old. maybe and that's being generous. I can speak as much as like a baby speaks in its first year, I think, in Mandarin. Room for improvement, let's say. Oh, yeah, so it's gonna be a fun year. Gonna be a fun year if I live to see the end of it. If any of us live to see the end of it, I'm sure some of us will. Um, it feels like this year has lasted 10 years. This week has lasted a decade. Talking in my hearing today about events that happened less than a year ago, I'm like, they're like, yeah, you said that happened in late February. I'm like, I guess. Honestly, I have no idea, and it wasn't documented, so, like, I think so. And I think I left the last week of March, my previous position, but, like, you have to appreciate this has been one of the most traumatic, violent, and horrifying periods of American history and livable memory. That really distorts our ability to recall things. Yeah. God, it's weird. Very weird. So, yeah, you know. Things are gonna stay weird. I'm happy for South and Central America, though. I am. I'm happy for Indochina right now. Very happy, because you can finally see the United States reaping what it has sowed for the better part of a century at the cost of innumerable lives and innumerable freedoms. We deserve this. We deserve worse than this. We deserve to have our dogs coming home, horses coming home, have our blank coming home. Oh my god. Have their coming home, something coming home. What's the expression? Something coming home to roost? Whatever the expression is, yeah. Yeah, I've been playing Dishonored. Fucking hilarious. Yeah, I meant to talk about this. Hilarious. I just started playing Dishonored with, like, the Mark of the Outsider. What? One of the dudes, one of the fascist juts. And listen, the guy, there's a lot I could say about his physical appearance, but I think that's punching down. I think we should attack each other based on our ideals and our philosophies more than our physical appearances, so I'm not going to do that. It's a cheap shot. It's an easy shot. Other people are making it. I'm not making it. He has a tattoo of the Outsider on the back of his hand. And Fox News and QAnon and alt-right news sources are like, he's got a hammer and sickle on the back of his hand. It's a hammer and sickle. Buddy. That's the mark of a demonic entity from a fictional Victorian era setting where you play as a vigilante who goes around killing people outside of the law because you were wronged by the system. There ain't no hammer and sickle, comrade. Wow, Americans are heroes, said someone, but definitely not. Oh god, yeah, here's a list of... You could just say the Miami, not the Miami Confederacy. Well, I guess Miami Confederacy because they're a group. The Cherokee Miami Confederacy Tripolitans. Yeah, because our first war in the United States were the Barbary Wars against Tripoli and Tunisia. Yeah, Moroccans, Algerians, Tunisians, Tecumseh. Tecumseh was Creek, so having Tecumseh in here, he was a... I don't need to correct this. I can just read the meme as is. I don't know why I have this editor critic in my brain that's like, well, technically, the Creek, Seminole, Comanche, Seminole are Creek. Again, they're both of the Muskogee culture. It's an aside, the Comanche, Arikara, Winnebago, Potawatomi, Mexicanos, Cayuse, Apache, Ute, Yavapai, Nisqually, Muskelshoot, Puyallup, Quicket, Haida, Tlingit, Tutuni, Yakima. Yeah, Yakima is interesting. Sometimes it's spelled Y-A-K... Y-A-K-I-M-A. Sometimes it's A-M-A. I think A-M-A is more popular spelling nowadays. It used to be I-M-A. Shahaptin, Qing, Navajo, Qing. Qing not as in, like, Qing Dynasty. Qing as in, like, I think there was a native group that went by that name. That rings a bell, but only vaguely. Apache, Yuma, Mojave, Dakota. Yeah, Mojave are Apache. They're the Mojave Apache, unless this is referring to some other group. The Apache. I know too much. I need a fucking trepanning. Just shut me down. The Dakota, and this should have the Lakota. It does have the Lakota later on. Okay, these are Sioux tribes. Yeah, Dakota, Cheyenne, Arapaho, Sioux, Chosu, Lakota, Kiowa, Modoc, Yaqui, Pima, Opata, then indigenous Hawaiian, Samoans, Colombian, Spanish, Spanish. Listen, we did each other dirty, but we're... Oh no, that is Qing China? I have no apologies for the Qing dynasty. The United States shouldn't have gotten involved, but the Qing dynasty, the latter Qing dynasty, there were no good people there. It was all bad. Boxer Rebellion, bad. Qing, bad. The Heavenly Kingdom, bad. Europeans should not have gotten involved and set them up to fail, but like it was fucked 3 ways to Tuesday. 2 ways to Tuesday? Well, I guess 3 ways to Tuesday, because yeah, we yada. Chamorros, Filipinos, Puerto Ricans, Sioux, Hondurans, Nicaraguans, Haitians, Dominicans, Russians. Again, no apologies to Russians or Europeans. I mean, it's fair them saying, Americans aren't heroes, but having imperialists listed alongside indigenous peoples is a weird look for this meme. Chinese, having Qing and Chinese in here is weird, because the Qing was the dynastic title for the emperor, and then having Chinese in here later, when Chinese typically refers to Han people. There are other major demographics, but again, this is an aside. Actually, Alex, just on full bore here, and just showing my whole ass. Japanese, Koreans, Greek, Costa Rican, Albanian, Syrian, Guatemalans, Paraguayans, Indonesians, Burmese, Egyptians, Laotians, Lebanese, Ugandans, Cambodians, Thai, Congolese, Libyans, Grenadians, Irani, Persian, right? We should be saying Persian, not Irani, right? Because it's the state of Iran, but the people are Persian, right? Or are they called Iran? I don't know this. Iran, word for person from. Iranian and Persian. Okay. I like Persian personally, because yeah, that's a fair point. Persians are only one of the ethnic groups, but for Russians, they didn't list all the ethnic groups in Russia, right? This list is like sometimes nationalism, sometimes ethnicity, and it's conflating the two a lot. And that's that, especially with some of these indigenous groups from the United States. Some of these are like Sioux. Sioux, for example, is the name of an alliance of tribes, of nations. But Lakota and Dakota were the largest 2 tribes in that confederation, right? And that's happening a few times in this list. It doesn't need to be fixed. I just can't look at something like this and not be a pedantic asshole about it. This is my brand. This is who I am. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry enough to change. Oh God, where'd I leave off? Indonesian, Burmese, Egyptian, Laotians, Lebanese, Ugandans, Cambodians, Thai, Congolese. Libyans, Grenadians. Yeah, okay, Irani is where I put in the stop. Like Brazilians. Brazilians a great example. There are multiple cultural groups and ethnic groups within Brazil. Obviously, it's a huge fucking country. Or are we talking about like the more fair-skinned Brazilians who are landed kind of gentry in that country, of which I'm related to some? Are we talking about more mixed race Brazilian people? Are we talking Brazilian people whose cultural and ecological, economic background is more tied to the slave sent over and they haven't been divorced from that economic reality as strongly as certain other people from the country? If you go through the bother of fixing it, yeah, I'm not going to, so I'm not giving you a better copy pasta because I'm lazier than you are. You at least posted this. You know, credit where credit is due. You're memeing out here and I have mad respect for it. Make a better meme? Nah, no, just complain about what exists and don't change anything. Come on, I'm a Marxist. That's what we do. I'm an academic Marxist. I just bitch about things, talk about how they should be better and how they could be better. And then, because I'm a leftist, we just fight with one another, never really organize for real change, and then get surprised when nothing happens, right? God, I'm so bitter. I'm so bitter. Oh, wow, breaking news. CNN has reported that a Capitol police officer has died after being attacked yesterday. The coup killed a cop. The coup killed a cop. Cops killing cops, baby. Holy frick. Holy frick. Imagine if BLM had done that. Can you fucking imagine if BLM had done that? Yeah, the coup killed 2 cops. Yep, 1 on each side. That we know of. I mean, the unidentified 3 people who died from for medical reasons. They could have been cops or former cops themselves. We don't know. Could be more than 2. This is just wow. Me reaping, me sowing. This is just what I've been thinking of constantly for the last day. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is gonna be a hell of a week. It's gonna be a hell of a month. It's gonna be a hell of a year. This is a hell of a time to be alive. Imagine if Testicle Toaster was a cop. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping. God. Okay, I should wrap up here. Because now I'm just doom scrolling on Twitter like, oh shit, what else I missed today? I'm okay. I'm glad that you're okay. Maybe I'll stream some Dishonored later. Again, to be perfectly clear, the Dishonored playthrough is for aesthetic reasons. I'm playing on easy. I'm not taking it seriously. I'm probably not going to finish the game. It's just to get some Victorian atmosphere inspiration for our Blades in the Dark game. I should go cook. I haven't eaten today, but I don't want to cook because making beans and rice takes like 8 fucking hours. So I'm probably going to try and order takeout, but I shouldn't because it's expensive and I have no income. So I should go to the store, but going to the store puts me around other people and I don't want to get COVID. So we'll see what happens. Oh shit. You heard the blip. Premarital handholder has followed. Oh shit, I better get out of here. Oh no. Oh no. Until later, I'm gonna say toodaloo. Take care. I will see you then. Bye.